What's up, guys? Welcome back to the All Gains podcast. I'm Andrew,
And I'm Mike.
and we have a special guest today. We have Justin from Monster State. How do you say it?
Montclair State.
Stupid. Montclair
Confessions.
State Confessions on Instagram. We're gonna give a link to where you could find that on Instagram. It's pretty self-explanatory, but
Yeah, I'll throw it in the description.
yeah. So basically, so when I first found this page, I was intrigued because I saw a lot of interesting submissions from I guess all these submissions for the most part voluntarily come from Montclair State University, obviously.
Yeah, the student body, I guess.
So I found out, as I was looking through a lot of these interesting confessions, and I took a couple of screenshots of some of them. We'll sort of dissect them and maybe have a couple laughs along the way because it's some very interesting posts that you get.
But how are you doing? How are you doing, Justin?
I'm great, just taking one day at a time, trying to do what I can through this pandemic because, this sucks, dude.
It's been rough, man.
It's been very rough.
Yeah, a lot of college students have been going really crazy over this stuff because a lot of people are limiting themselves from social interaction. So they're isolating themselves in a big way. And that's causing, I think, a lot of psychological harm because humans are naturally social creatures. So if we isolate ourselves for a certain amount of time, we start to sort of lose our social skills a little bit at a time. And over a few months, which has been about a year at this point, over time, especially if you're actually isolating yourself and following CDC guidelines, doing whatever they say, then you're probably losing something in your brain that's basically, there's like a downfall, so to speak. And there's like a certain depression that comes with that.
Yeah, it's been real tough, especially hearing all these confessions from people. They're really lonely and they're really bored and they don't know what to do. And I'm trying to find ways to help them, but I can't even help myself in certain ways because what is there to do really? I'm glad to see things are starting to open up now, but back in the prime of it all, it was so scary because you never know what was gonna happen next. So I'm glad.
Yeah, because it was so uncertain. Everything was so uncertain. Things are kind of still uncertain now, but at least we can see a light in a sense.
Yeah,
we can see the end.
Things are slowly starting to build back up, but still, there's going to be consequences to everything that's happened. I think in longer term, we can see it just by on the confessions on the board. So my first question is tell us about your background and how you created the page.
Okay, so when I first got to Montclair, I was first when I was applying to colleges, I wasn't supposed to go to Montclair originally. I was actually enrolled in another school, which was the school I wanted to go to, but then something ended up not working out there. So midsummer, where I thought I was going to the school I was going to, I had to get pulled out and had to go to Montclair. So when I first arrived at Montclair, I was depressed. I was so sad. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to be here. I was struggling at first because I couldn't accept it because I wasn't supposed to be here. And then so I really just sat there and just struggled. And after I decided to pull myself out of that and started really thinking about it, obviously if it can happen to me, it can happen to anyone. And with Montclair being such a commuter school and not everybody really knowing everybody, I decided to build this page as for people to know what's going on and for people to share what's happening to them, they can get help or find people, find friends. That's really how the page came about.
Yeah, I see it because I can see as in a brainstorm type of way when you've in its infancy, it's more of a thing where you want to build a community.
Yeah.
Where people can say these things and then they can comment and they can talk amongst themselves about certain things that are going on, and if people are feeling the same way, then they can talk about it and stuff, and it just builds people together, which I feel is really, really good.
I find it interesting that I think that instead of talking to their friends about it, some of these subjects that I've been seeing on these posts, they'll go ahead and because they obviously want to remain anonymous, I would assume.
Yeah.
So it's almost as if they are not comfortable enough talking to their friends about some of these things that they're saying. So instead of talking to close friends or family, they're posting it, anonymous on this page, and it's sort of interesting to me,
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't even know if they do actually talk to their friends. I mean, if they even have any, but it's just a matter of, I think, because I like that they do that, but at the same time, we don't know specifically. Let's pretend if they don't talk to their friends, right? Then I feel then that might be a little bit of an issue, but at the same time, it also might be in their brain a good thing. But I don't know. What do you think about that?
Sometimes when it comes to things like that, you might be scared to come to your friends with certain topics because you're scared what they might say, how they might judge you. I know certain situations, there's certain things I wouldn't go to my friends about because I going to them might not be in my best interest. Yeah, they'll still be my friends at the end of the day, and yes, I trust them with things, but some things you keep to yourself. So I guess I'm providing that outlets. People can get things off the chest. Might not want to stick to their friends or family.
What
I
do you think the
understand it.
most, yeah. What do you think the most common problems that you're seeing from these posts, these anonymous posts?
It's a lot of like social problems, so like relationships, like lonely and needing friends, like stuff like that. Really, um, I'm trying to think, really trying to think. Yeah, I would say like that's the overall theme, just friends and relationships.
Yeah, like I've seen a lot of posts, like people coming, oh my, and we'll get into some of the screenshots of some of the things, so we'll talk about that. That's interesting. But yeah, it's you know what, because like Mike and I, we have a friend group, and we're able to talk about our problems with the boys. Like we got the squad,
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we are fortunate enough, and unfortunately not everybody is, but we're fortunate enough to sort of have a squad that we can rely on, that we can share ideas off of and bounce without feeling that you're getting judged. If anything, you're getting constructive criticism. So like if I'm going out with a girl and some crazy shit happens, which happens all the time, the
yeah.
dating out here is insane,
It's
dude.
hard
Oh
nowadays.
my god, these girls are tripping. Listen, these guys are not that much better, and we talk about that in a lot of our videos. But it's insane. But so when I go out on dates and crazy things happen to me, I talk to Mike. I'm like, yo, Mike, or we have our friend Joe. He's also like, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, guys, can you believe this crazy stuff that happened? And I'll tell them the whole story, because my life is like an American Pie movie, pretty much. So like I get to tell them all these things, but not a lot of guys have that sort of social circle that they could feel comfortable enough to say all these kind of things. And that's why I think it's good to have a page like yours that you've created, because now it's giving them an outlet to speak. Because I think one of the greatest things you could do is write about your life. And when you write things out, you get them out of your head, and it puts all this pressure, all the stress out of your head, and puts it on a piece of paper. Or in this case, if you're typing on a phone to submit something anonymously, first of all, you're not going to feel like you're judged. So that's a good thing. And second of all, you're able to communicate with someone, and they end up communicating with you, and you're supplying this feedback. So it sort of gives them an emotional relief, at least for a temporary period of time.
Yeah, that's the goal, to make sure that everybody feels like they have a voice. Because I know, like once you start going to, like, school, like you're growing up, especially in the college, with like there's a lot of kids. Like it's so easy to get lost in the shuffle. But like I just want like people to remember, like, you guys have a voice, and like someone out there is listening, and that right now that's me. And so like if I like I'll do anything I can to help, like share your problems or share your thoughts.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool, because I know when you respond to the requests, yeah, the posts, I see then people join in the discussion. So I see a lot of people commenting on the bottom, especially when it comes to like these crazy, like I've seen posts where people will be like, yeah, I just caught some couple having sex under the stairs. I was like, oh my god, what do I do? And then you had people commenting like, oh my god, that's so crazy. Oh, I wish that was me. Like you have all these different kind of response. So it does create a sort of, I mean, it could create a comedic feedback, but it also creates like a spectacle. And it brings people together in a sort of way. How does the page like affect you? Like how do you like feel about listening to all these crazy stories, and sort of like, does it make you think different about, well, what really goes on in college? Like, I mean, obviously there's the stigmas of, oh god,
Yeah.
greatest 4 years of my life.
Yeah, because when you look at movies and TV shows, you see college just like endless partying and like uh just so much fun. But then when you get here and you like see how much work and like actual stuff it is, this definitely opened my eyes a lot about like what actually goes on, and like how like people actually are affected by college. So like it's a good like eye opener, like, really, because I did not know like half of this shit went on like throughout it.
Yeah,
No, I even know people that do really think that college is just all parties and stuff,
Yeah.
and they just go crazy, but then they end up probably dropping out and
yeah.
stuff
They don't
after.
tell you about all the studying, and they don't really show you
Yeah.
all the
A lot
mental.
of work. It's a lot of work. God,
Yeah, it takes like hours and hours and hours of your life,
it
and
makes me
then
want to cry sometimes.
Honestly,
Bad.
just all the work that's piled up.
Yeah.
how do you determine like what responses you'll give? Like someone comes to you with like a relationship question. How do you usually feel like you should answer that? Like, what's the best practical advice you like to give?
Just the reality of the situation. That's the one thing that I will never stray away from. Like, I will not like sugarcoat anything for you. I will not be your yes man. I will tell you how it is and how you need to hear it. Because unfortunately, as much as we all love to dream and hope for these certain situations to happen to us in our lives, like, we got to be real with ourselves. So that's what I'm here for. I'm here to be real and help you like see like what the best possible like choices and outcomes are.
Yeah, because I saw you have like over 3,000 followers. So I'm assuming it's a pretty big college, right? So I would assume most of those people they really do go to that college and they're submitting
Mm.
all these things that has to do with that particular. You graduated from there, right?
Yeah. Oh wait, no, I'm still here. I'm still there.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
right.
okay.
Okay, cool.
'Cause I saw the thing. It was like not affiliated with MSU. I was like, what?
Well, yeah, because the page isn't affiliated. I can't claim that I'm an affiliated page just for like quote unquote legal purposes.
Legal
I have to make
reasons.
sure.
Oh,
Yeah, I have to make sure they know like this is just the
It's
student ran
interesting.
account.
Yeah.
okay. I was. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not the legal guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't need to know.
From based on your experience and what on the evidence that you've collected, what do you think is the ratio of men and women confessions? Like, how many men compared to women do you think are submitting these?
It's got to be down the line 50-50.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
I would figure.
they're like both groups are dealing with the same problem, and it's just easy. Like, and at that point, like you, gender doesn't even matter because like the problems are so universal because like
Mm.
both genders can go through the same problem.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of common themes of breakup, and then there's themes of schoolwork and like stress and like
Yeah.
getting submissions in on time. And then there's like, oh, I'm in this long distance relationship. I think that's
Yeah.
one of them. And I don't know, and I don't know if I should cheat. It's like, what the? So I might pull up the screenshots. We'll get into that. Those we got some. I selected some interesting ones and anyone
Okay.
can go on the MSU page and look at these. This is not
Yes.
obviously private information.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's very public information.
very much. So.
Yeah, but I think what makes it so interesting is that the fact that this is anonymous, it means judgment free from these selected people, and they're going to probably tell you the raw truth. So this stuff is happening, whether you like it or not. Reality just is.
Yeah.
Just like you don't like to sugarcoat the information, the people who are probably submitting these are probably not sugarcoating it either. And this is probably, this is what's really going on. So what's the first one?
All right, so feels good. Okay.
I think
Yeah,
it was
so
more recent.
the first one I see here, my time is ticking. Never dated a girl before. I tried while in 11th grade to ask her out, but and nerves got to me. She said no. Been a free agent all my life. I decided that I am not in a relationship by my 26th birthday. I'm just gonna give up altogether. I'll just live, be single and live alone the rest of my life.
Now, I just want to get your quick take reaction on that. I know you already obviously you answer all of them, but I'm just curious of your thoughts.
It's so like honestly, it's so easy to find yourself in that situation. Especially if you're not like actively like really in the scene because you can tell those type of guys who like, like talking to girls and like it comes easy to them. Like, they have girlfriends and stuff like that, but it's not that easy for everybody. So like when I read that, I was like, dude, like you don't even know, dude. Like you have so much like ahead of you. If you can just keep working on yourself, like it'll come. Girls are attracted to success. And like if you keep building towards that, they'll see and like they'll flaunt to you. But, like there's no need to like build like to be so like focused on it because it'll happen.
That's
So,
what we say on our channel is you need to
Yeah.
focus on your purpose in life and not trying to
Yeah.
chase women all the time. Because if
You need to chase excellence. You don't want to chase women. Like, let the women
Exactly.
chase you. Like,
exactly, because if you're a successful, confident man and you're living your purpose and you're doing what you want, if let's say you're on the football team in Montclair State University, right, and you're living, you're getting good grades, you're doing good, you're having that positive, confidence attitude. Girls are going to sense that. Okay, they're going to sense that from your body language. They're going to sense that from the way you talk, the way you act, the way you walk around the college, and they're going to be like, okay, something's up with this guy because his energy's so on point. Like obviously, something sets him apart. So if you're on the path, so to speak, and you're actually doing what you're supposed to be doing, what your mind knows you're supposed to be doing, then they're going to come to you. And if they're not, at least you'll have the confidence because if you're working on yourself constantly, you know that you're the prize. So if you think of the prize, then you're going to be more inclined to. You see, you could go on the campus just reading a book, like, hey, I just saw you over here, and I just thought you were pretty cute. Like just doing something like that, for example, is how you meet someone. So I think a lot of guys. There was a study. I don't know if you know this. I think it was in like 2018. Recently, there are more virgins now than there ever were before that are recorded. So like, if people ages from like 18 to 28 are reporting like no sex within like a year or two. So it's very interesting statistics.
It is very interesting, and I would tell you, I don't doubt that. Like I could honestly see it, like the way that, like this whole relationship and flirting thing has started. Like now it's like so like online and digitalized to the point where like it's not the old-fashioned way where you see a girl, you order, you Now everything's like all like Tinder and like all digital, like sliding in DMs, like that. That has ruined the whole like relationship game because
Yeah.
now all you have to do is slide in with like hey or a funny picture, and then like that's it for you. There's no more like goal. I don't know. Like it's so different now. It's kind of lame to me now.
Yeah.
I think over time, I think, as I said before, there's going to be consequences to the rise of technology that there is today.
Yeah.
So with online dating skyrocketing, there was also another study, and these are proven like studies that have gone on. So statistically, so there was like back in the day, like 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, it would show the graph on where people would meet their significant other. So back then, it would be like, oh, I met them through school, I met them through
a
bar. Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
lot of
Sports
social
event.
circle. Yeah, family, friend.
Yeah.
But now those numbers have dropped recently. Now it's online dating has skyrocketed, right? So now more people than ever are meeting online. And that's sort of how, because it's easy, right?
It's really
Let's say
easy.
we live busy lives, and let's say you're getting swamped in college work, right? You're not going to have the energy. You're not even going to have the energy to walk around. Oh, I'm going to go source some chicks tonight. Oh yeah, forget my homework. Especially like now with that stuff. So it's easier to make a Tinder and just swipe, swipe, like, and then your dopamine's going up every time you get a new match. Like, because you just got a new match in Tinder. You get that dopamine, like, oh my god, somebody thinks I'm hot, and that this like activates something in the brain, right? And I know, like, we did a fake girl Tinder experiment video. So we made like we made a Tinder as a girl and got some like low list celebrities for the pictures, and we just wanted to see what would happen. So within 5 minutes, we had like 500 likes. And we started swiping, and we would just get match. And I was just like, geez. So the average girl is getting that.
It was really
Yes.
insane.
The average girl is getting that. So I thought that was very interesting. Let's go through another.
You want to go through another one?
Yeah. Let's.
All right. So this next one is I've been depressed for a while, and I don't know what to do to get back up. My boyfriend cheated on me with my best friend. That brought my self-esteem down to the point where I hate myself. This semester I'm doing horribly, and I have to take care of my uncle because he has Parkinson's. Then I work almost every day till 11:30 at night. I just don't know what to do to make myself happy again.
So okay, so obviously that's coming from a female. What's your reaction to that?
It's more of like just I feel bad, obviously, because like you don't want to see anybody like go through things like this.
Yeah.
But stuff like this like does build character though. Like it builds strength because like I said in the post, when we're children and we're thinking about the future, we're envisioning like so much fun. Like I'm pretty sure like at one point we all want to be astronauts and like do all these crazy stuff, and we still can. Like obviously our sense of reality has we grasp the sense of reality a little bit more. So obviously we know like certain things are not that possible, but like we still know the sky's the limit, and that voice is still in there. Like yeah, like things might be tough now, but there's still like you're like going through these things for a reason. Like you're being challenged so you can be stronger, and like you like losing hope is like only like you're admitting defeat once you're like ah I don't know like that post specifically bothered me a little bit because like it's just I feel so connected with that. It's is like personally I've gone through these struggles too, like family members, school, like just struggling and like just almost wanting to give up. Like I like just debating dropping out and just like trying to find something else to do. And like at that point, like you just gotta find like you have to remember your purpose as we talked about. Remember your purpose and just go. Because like yeah, you're gonna go through hardships, but it's only gonna get harder from here. So if you drop out here, that means you didn't really make it that far. Uh so
Yeah, man. I completely understand what you're saying. Like
yeah,
these times are hard, man.
times are
Like this
hard.
is not like, we like to, play a lot of laughs in it, but there's some really, dark stuff that's going on around here, and we're only hearing about it because people feel safe enough to post it anonymously, but at least you're getting to see what the human mind is really dealing with right now in these times,
It's dealing with a lot. And then like, like just dealing with that like whole family situation, it's just so tough. Like just thinking about
Yeah.
like putting myself in her shoes is like I really feel so bad. And like I really wish I knew like that person like individually so I can like tell them like really try to help them. Like it gets better from here. I'm telling you. You just keep working, put your head down, focus on yourself and the situation. Like you have time. That's the one thing you never want to feel like is that you don't have enough time. You have enough time to complete everything you want to complete in life, and you want to make sure you live that way every single day. And if you don't, then you're literally cheating yourself out on life.
Yeah.
That's why I say, like, you have every day you have an opportunity every single time you wake
Yeah.
up to make something of your day. And what you choose to do with that is your decision at the end of the day. For the most part, life is in your control. You cannot control what others do, but you can control your own actions, and you can choose, even though it may be very tough to make the decision to, kind of put your head down, as you said, and just kind of keep grinding, because it can get really hard, like if you're
Yeah.
getting bottled up in college work, and then you have to go to work, and then you have to deal with your crappy
Like,
boss, and you have to go through
yeah.
that. So, and
And
all
then
these
yeah, and
things,
deal with family stuff at home.
yeah, and then you have to deal with your social group of friends. Who knows what kind of drama could be happening with that, especially with guys and girls at college. There's always something going on. There's
Always
always
something.
there's always a feud. There's always he said this, she said that. There's always that going on. So that puts a lot of mental stress as well,
Yeah.
on top of everything else that goes on. And it's harder today, I think, because of the internet. Not
Mm.
exactly because of the internet, but what we do with it, right? So you see everything on Twitter all the time.
Yep.
You're seeing all this political stuff, which gets in the way of everything.
Mhm.
So you have all this information that hits you, and it just keeps hitting you. And if your mindset is not in the right direction, it's gonna sort of,
Yep.
it's like a nail in the wall. You just keep hitting it the other way, and the nail's not going into the wood, it's going like sideways, right? So it's like a lot of information is hitting people in the head the wrong way, because there's so much stuff. Like, people always want to be researching, like people use Google on average like 10 times a day just to find certain things, and you're always trying to find more information, like, why did this happen, why did this happen, why did this happen? And then eventually they find your page. So, okay, I'm just gonna let this information out, because there's so many things going on at once, and I don't know if the brain is capable of handling too many things.
Especially with like Instagram and like social media, like especially like being like our age and now like starting to grow and you're starting to see other people your age do a lot more and you start to compare yourself to what's going on. And right now you see that your life isn't where you want it to be, but you see like, oh, like Susie like has her life together, quote unquote, because what she posts. And like like that stuff is like ruining a lot of people's mindsets because how come Susie's better off than me right now? And like we're doing the same thing and it's hard because that depiction of what people put on social media because social media isn't the
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, you see people posting. I mean, people only post what makes them shine in the light
Yep.
the best, right? They're not going to show you, well, I got drunk and had a bad hangover last night. No, they're going to show you with a glass of vodka. Yo,
Yeah.
they're not going to show you
Yep.
the bleh after. They're not going to show you them throwing up, right? People are not going to show you the worst of the worst, and they're gonna,
Yeah, I know. I now that you said that, it's just now it's in my brain. I can literally see it in my head.
yeah, like same thing with Snapchat. Like on Snapchat, how people will be at a party or they'll be at a
Party,
concert
yep.
or something, and they're just filming the whole thing.
Whole
They're
thing.
not really in the moment. Okay, they're just filming the moment, and they're looking at their. In fact, if you notice when people are recording things, like when they're at a party or something on Snapchat, they're actually not even looking around them. They're looking at their phone, which is looking at the environment. So you're actually missing out technically on the real in-person moments, which I find to be a little but
Yeah, because you're not living the moment. You're watching the moment happen in front of you, and you're not really partaking in it whatsoever. You're just recording history at that point.
You're in another dimension within our dimension, so to speak. Well, so what's another one?
Another one?
Yeah.
Okay, this one. I sit on campus in my room all day alone and cry. I have no friends on campus, and it's just desperate. Some nights I feel like killing myself. How do I fill this void in my life?
Yeah. So, what's your reaction to that one? Because I know it hits.
That's a very delicate situation.
Yeah.
Because like before COVID, I would just tell go like do things. Like there's a lot like or there used to be a lot of events, a lot of people on campus at all times, and like going places. For me, it was going to the rec. I was at the rec every day, and that's how I made my friends. And like playing basketball, it helped me a lot. But now that during COVID and all these like ridiculous rules about like you can't have too many guests in your room, you can't have outsiders, like getting tested, like you're barely seeing people because you're basically spending all this time in your room, like on like the Zoom call. So to try to help that person, it's harder now. Like my best advice is make sure that first and foremost you're your own best friend and that you love yourself at the end of the day because if you can at least stand yourself, like you'll be okay. Because being alone sometimes isn't like the worst. I like being alone sometimes. Like my being with myself and my thoughts, it helps me a little bit. I understand like craving that social intimacy and being on a campus that's not providing that right now, I know sucks. I tell them, get active online. Like there's clubs, there's still clubs that do Zoom meetings. there's still things that happen on campus, but not as much. But like, there's an outlet for everybody. So I just tell them get searching, like you can do this, and just make sure like it's a like they stay positive. Like keep trying.
Yeah, because I understand the whole thing with because I'm an only child, so being
Yeah,
alone is usually like something that you deal with, like other than your parents, when you're home, like it's just you. And
yeah,
I feel like sometimes when you're an only child, like sometimes you get lucky in that aspect where being
mhm,
alone, like you've already dealt with that, how that is.
yeah,
But then sometimes it also depends upon your mindset. If you have a really good positive mindset, like then you're good, you're flying by. But if you don't have a good mindset, you being alone within your thoughts might not be good. That's why having also a good friend group, like you were saying, is like
mm,
really important, and having things that you love to do is also very important. So like so if like and you can find things that you could do
yeah,
that can fill a purpose just by being at home. Like you can write, you can be creative with certain things. Like you can watch a movie and be like, oh, I want to write a story or make out a story of something and try to record it for a YouTube channel or something. There's a lot of things that you could do nowadays, but like it's just a matter of having the right mindset and focusing on the things that you like to do, and just so solely focus on you first and then push out.
Yeah, I think the loneliness that we're seeing is very it's sort of new because we've never had to be so far from each other, right? And all we have is our phones in our hand and our laptops on our, on our
On our
legs,
desk or
right?
something.
Yeah.
yeah,
And we get to, sure, we have unlimited access to unlimited information from the internet, which by the way most people don't utilize anyway. But what we really crave is indeed that social interaction that we are missing out on because of everything that's going on now with the virus and we've never had to be so separated. As I mean, you could say, okay, the Spanish flu, okay, fine, whatever, 1918. But now we have technology, which makes us, I think, in a way, could make us feel more alone because now we're watching things happen in the
mhm,
world and we cannot participate in them.
yeah,
So if you're watching a party go on and you're like, let's say you have a really strict family and they're like, no, you're not going anywhere. No, we don't want you around people because there's a pandemic right now. But you're like, oh, but I see my friends at this party. And I mean, you could try to act all tough, like, oh, I don't care about no party. But then you saw, you're looking at the Snapchat or the Instagram post and you're seeing everybody having fun, smiling, and you're looking at yourself like, I really want to go. And then it makes you feel like this emptiness because we really do crave social, interaction. You could say all day, oh, I hate people. People suck. I hate my
mhm,
job. But at the same time, you can't lie to yourself. You like talking to people. You like that social interaction, especially if it's with your best friends. You're going out to eat. That's what we do with our friends. We like to go out to eat. We'll go bowling. We go to the bar, get a few drinks. But if you can't do that, especially from like March until like when the bars opened up, you can do anything. And over the months and months, it takes a toll.
it
Especially
takes a real
and when you're a college student and you're like, okay, like everyone hates going to class, blah, blah, blah. I hate going to school, whatever. But then you take it away. And then you realize how much you actually valued the time you spent in class, having to look at someone on a desk next to you, having to even write the little post-it notes
yeah,
like, hey, I like you. Even just like
yeah,
go back to kindergarten second. Like when you take something away, and it becomes scarce. That creates value. So now people
yeah,
are realizing just how valuable classroom time actually is. Even when you're forced to be quiet and take a test and look down at your desk, at least you're surrounded by living human
mhm,
people, right?
Yeah, I hated I've always hated online college, and now that Corona has happened and we're actually doing it, and we all have to be like online for the most part. That at least in the beginning, like it was just really awful, and I was just like, this is not good. Like
it-
this doesn't make me feel like I want to be here to do this. Like I'd rather be in a room
mhm.
doing this with everybody there.
I get that. Two parts. I'm in the middle about it. I feel like it's easier. Online classes is so much easier than in-person classes for me at least.
Certain
Yeah,
ones are. I guess it really depends on the subject.
yeah, but then like the interaction part of it, I no one I'll pay somebody like $100 if you find someone who tells me like I like breakout rooms in Zoom, like doing group projects over Zoom, like talking to my classmates over Zoom. Like if you can find that person that likes that, then like please, I would like to have a conversation because that sucks. I
Yeah,
just
same.
because it's not the same about being in the environment where you, like actually get to talk to the people and interact with them. Like I feel like all this interaction is just fake because like it's just a camera. It's not real. Like
Yeah.
all- it's it's not what we're used to, and I know like that takes a toll. not the same. It's just a it's just a simulated version of a classroom, and it sucks.
It definitely does over time.
Yeah, because like when you talk to somebody, you when you're not in front of them face to
Yeah.
face, like you don't know like their body language. You can't
Mhm.
like tell what they actually are thinking, and you can't play that game pretty much where you can have an understanding through your brain wavelengths, and just understand and be able to actually interact perfectly as humans are supposed to. When you're going through on a Zoom call like we are right now, like it's, you can kind of get that, but you can't fully connect to that
Yeah.
person completely. Like us having a conversation right now,
Mhm.
like we can connect, but like it's not like a genuine connection where if we were sitting down like at a table talking, like
Yeah.
that is like a legitimate real like interaction. And that's what I feel like we all miss. And I feel like like some of us could do it right now, but
Yeah.
in the big retrospect of like school and stuff, it's not really possible in the capacity that
Mhm.
schools used to be in.
I
And I
I
feel like
work
that's just awful.
I work with small children like as a job, like I work like aftercare and before like care programs for
Right.
school. So I get to see this like effect firsthand for small children, and it's like it sucks because like they're trying to at least bring schools back in half capacity, and then like you can see like so these kids are happy to be in school. Like even though they have masks and like they have computers on and like there's like socially distanced, they're so happy to be there. Like they're so happy to see one another and talk to one another, and like they're like actually excited to go. And then like you talk to those, like if my sister goes online school, and you talk to her, and then she's like she doesn't like it, like she's struggling because like she's not with her friends, and it's like you can really see how like this virus is taking a like like a toll on these like mental health of even children. It's like so sad.
Yeah, that's why I say I think long term there are going to be some type of consequences. I think
Mm.
that are going to, especially with the young children that are spending like 1 to 2 years like in this weird bubble, isolating themselves from other kids. These kids need to interact with each other because this is like the
Yep.
foundation of the brain to be comfortable
Mm.
with human interaction. That's how you become comfortable with talking. You learn social skills from a young age, and then you progress from there. But if you spend even 1 or 2 years not being able to do that, I think it's going to take some toll when
Mm.
they grow up. I mean, that's obviously not proven yet because we have years to go. But I think that as years go by, you might see some sort of consequences for all this. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying it might just be the reality of the situation, just because of the
Mm.
way our brains are wired, and humans have significant qualities that make us human, and social interaction is like one of the biggest ones, right? So let's go through another.
Okay, another one. Okay,
Yeah, let's see what we got.
so I've been in sorry, let me restart. I've been in a rocky relationship for a bit, but I know my boyfriend is trying his best for me. I still think I need more effort though, and I feel awful for asking for so much. Well, there's this guy I have a great connection with, and he's awesome and much more stable in general. I don't know if I should break up with my man and try something new. I'm worried that it'll be a mistake and I'll end up losing someone that legitimately loves me. Should I risk it?
What do you think about that?
Well, one, that's so like that's I can only imagine being in like one of their like shoes. Like that's so like scary because that's real life. Like you never know
Yeah.
what happens. Obviously for her, like she knows her worth and she knows what she wants. So obviously if she knows what like she's not getting what she wants, she should probably go find that somewhere else. It just sucks for the other guy who's like obviously she said is trying. But if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And it's it's not any of their fault. It's just their connection wasn't as strong as like one of them had wanted it to be. So if she wants to go explore that other option, go right ahead. Like more power to her. She should. I mean, I'm guessing she's young and like, this is what life is about, figuring out like what you really want out of life. And so if she needs more, then go find more. Like all about finding your own happiness.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things about college is you sort of discover a little bit more about yourself and who you are. So sometimes if you enter into a relationship in high school, sometimes they don't make it past the 4 years in college or the 2 years, right? And a lot of the times these sort of situations pop up. And once again, I will say that this might be one of those situations that this woman might not be comfortable enough to tell to her friends or family. And this maybe just, she's probably keeping it to herself. And it's probably hurting her just knowing this information. Like she's probably just not feeling the vibe anymore. And this guy, He's probably trying to. He might even be over pursuing a little bit. He might be like, "Hey, you there?" Like he might be one of those guys.
Mhm.
So like he could be turning her off, or it could be, sometimes it just doesn't work out. And that's one of the things about college is that the more you discover about yourself, you try new things. Even though some of these confessions have told us people really do try new things in college.
People really, yeah.
Uh,
This
Yeah,
uh,
like it's like, and I like this one. As I was reading it, like I completely feel it and I understand it because I feel like I've been in this position before, and
yeah,
I've been this guy that's with the girl,
yeah.
and I feel like the best thing to do, like if you're that guy, right,
Mhm.
is like if she, let's hope that if she's actually a good person enough to be like, yeah,
Mhm.
I'm breaking up with you, and
Mhm.
not just going to cheat and then just
Yeah,
still being with the guy anyway, like if she's actually good about it and breaks up with him, I feel like this is like the greatest blessing for him, because then he can really, because if he's trying to really like do a do his best for, I guess, either even if it's for her, like he can just move that motivation onto himself
yeah,
and better himself. Because when I went through a similar situation, right, I did not, at first I did not take it good at all. Like you don't take that stuff well,
really don't.
and you don't put it towards yourself. You end up hurting yourself in the end. But then, if you actually have like good friends and good connections with people, and you can really take that
Mhm.
motivation that you've had, and you can focus more on yourself and go,
Yeah,
and do your thing, do yourself, better. And I feel like a lot of people need that. People need to understand, like, especially on the guy's perspective, like if a girl breaks up with you and like you were really like about this girl, but I guess she just wasn't anymore,
Mhm.
like you need to just not focus on that anymore and just focus more on yourself and what your purpose really is, and move on from there.
Yeah,
Can't
like
just dwindle in the past.
yeah, like I feel like I'm not like knock on wood. Like most of us are gonna find ourselves in that situation, like probably. And I can say I experienced something similar to being in the guy's shoes. It's just you got to take it as a learning experience. Like
Yeah.
okay,
You have to look
obviously,
at,
yeah. I'm not telling you not to be sad about it because yeah, that's gonna hurt. Like it's going to hurt. You
Yeah.
thought like you had something going and like I don't want to say you weren't enough, but like the connection just wasn't there. So like you never want to put it on yourself to the point where you're like, self-deprecating yourself and like you don't want to like talk down on yourself. You just need to take that, take those emotions that you're feeling and turn it into something positive. I know like a lot of people like, they go to the gym, they start going to the gym, like do more productive ways with, like those emotions where they're working on themselves. And I feel like it's a valuable life lesson to have, like taking your hurt and putting it into something positive.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people need to do that, because I feel like nowadays, like, people uh don't use that anymore. They don't
No.
try to make things positive. They want things to be negative, and it feeds them,
Yep.
and it feeds them in such like a horrible way. Like,
Yeah,
people
it's
just have this victim mentality.
such a victim mentality. It's like a negative parasite to have, like
Yeah.
just wanting to be the victim and like just wanting to be like having your hurt feelings validated. And
Yeah.
it's not a positive way to go about things at all.
No.
that's what I'm saying. It can be really rough. That's why you need to be constantly sharpening the mind. And I say
Mhm.
use the pain that you get from these sort of experiences and use it to your advantage. Use that
Mhm.
pain and go into the gym and lift heavy weights as possible.
Yeah,
Become stronger, become faster, become
Yeah.
something new.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like sort of evolve. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Like that's pretty much what, we've had to do that before. Like, we've gone through, bad situations, like similar, relationship wise, a long time ago. But like we got through it on the other side by, focusing more on ourselves and being, better versions of ourselves.
It
mhm,
makes you stronger in
Yeah,
the
and
end.
yep,
learning, and also learning from our mistakes is probably the biggest part too. Like understanding that you've made a mistake, or
mhm,
something had happened and it happened and it's in the past, and now you know what to do for the future.
Yeah.
And that's probably something that people need to learn as
Yeah.
well. Have a more of like having like a survivor mentality,
yeah,
Yeah.
where I survived this situation, and now I know what to do. Next time something like this pops up, I can
Yeah.
be prepared.
It's like what Yoda said in the worst Star Wars movie ever made. That he said failure is the greatest teacher, right? And I will say
yep.
that it is actually Rise of Skywalker is worse, but they're all pretty bad. I'll never watch those again. Anyway, that's one of the podcasts. He's Yoda said failure is the greatest teacher, right? And that's extremely true, because you need to look at your L's, and you need to how I can use like make them into your advantage. How can you turn that around and make that bad situation and turn it around, use the energy to make you a stronger person, because every experience that happens to you will happen for a reason, and it's going to make you a stronger person as a result of that. So all of this crazy stuff that we're going through, that we're seeing, it's all going to make us stronger in the future, if as long as we can hold on and embrace the pain and sort of use it to our advantage. You know, what do you do with all the information that you see here? Do you talk to friends about it? Like all these crazy things that you hear, it's gotta, I mean, it probably makes you think a little bit, right? So what do you do with all this information? Do you just like, or you like talk to friends about it? Like, can you believe what I'm seeing here? Or
Yeah, I talk to my friends about it. I internalize a lot of it though. I'll look at it and read it and like, okay, wow, all right, and then like I'll start to see a theme, and once I start to see a theme, it's like I'm instantly thinking of ideas on how to help. Like if I can do something personally to help everybody, then like going through the same problem, then I will. Like I have a lot of ideas right now that I'm trying to put in motion to like help as many people as I can with like different areas. And like right now I'm just like seeing like how I can possibly get help on it because doing this by myself is kind of hard. So but yeah, like that's my first instinct is like trying to find ways to help any way I can. Because like, what's the point of having this platform if you can't help? Like, at that point,
Yeah.
like you're doing service.
That's why we created the YouTube channel. We're seeing a lot of commonalities, a lot of people going through a lot of crap, and people just need someone to talk to. So we're just like, well, let's just put videos on topics that people are starting with. We started putting out stuff on nutrition because, quite frankly, most of America is overweight right now. So we're just putting out like nutrition advice and stuff. And then we realized that we were seeing people having more problems with like social issues, their friends and relationships, and a lot of guys dealing with women dealing with guys. There's a lot of information out there too, a lot of negative information that's also being passed around. So to have a little bit of positive feedback could be needed right now.
Yeah, and some a little lighthearted, to anything that's negative to make it a little lighthearted, just to ease that stuff is always good.
Let's go through another one. Yeah,
another one. Okay, so hold on, let me bring it up. Okay. So let me start here. So I accidentally walked in on my suite mate and their Tinder date fucking on the bathroom floor, but they didn't stop until I finally shut the door. I haven't used our bathroom since, and I didn't. Oh no, sorry. I haven't used our bathroom since, and it doesn't help that I have a crush on my suite mate. What should I do?
Yeah.
Well,
this one was intricate. Like this was a real like development of story here. First of all, like thankfully for me, I haven't had that experience on walking in on somebody, like doing that. So I could only imagine like in your own dorm, like you see that on the bathroom floor, I wouldn't know what to think. And the fact that they didn't stop, like, yeah, what's going on here? But
hello there.
like the fact that they like have feelings for that person, that must have hit hard.
Yeah.
I've been there. Like, and, never work at a Wendy's, man. I'm telling you. Yeah, don't work at any fast food restaurant because things go down. Okay, I've seen things that I can't even say on the podcast because YouTube will ban us.
Yeah,
will get destroyed.
I've been part of it. Yeah, like not whatever. But, I've done things. Okay, I'm not innocent, but it's very important to see. It's like situations like this really get you thinking.
Yeah, it's like seeing these things, it's pretty crazy. Like thinking, like, yeah, this definitely probably does happen at college, like all the time. Like, it doesn't matter where it is, like where in the country or even outside of the country. I highly expect this to happen at least once to somebody somewhere. Like this is but the last part I usually don't expect, and that was definitely a good plot twist. That was definitely a great plot twist on that one. And I kind of feel bad for this person. I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I didn't want to assume like what gender.
Yeah,
was.
And I'm assuming that there are no co-ed dorms. So so
it's like I didn't know what to think. I was just saying, well, honestly, like only you know how you want to deal with your feelings. You can either try to move on and deal with it, or you got to address it. But like doing nothing about it is only going to keep like hurting you. So you got to push one way. Like you can't sit in the middle forever.
Yeah. And that brings us back to the victim mentality type thing. Because like you could just be like, yeah, all this sucks. The person that, my sweet mate, I really like them, but I just watched them fuck somebody and that makes me not feel good. And like you can just be like, okay, I've seen that now. I should probably just stop thinking about this and do something else.
And if I
Yeah.
was that person, I'd be a little more, I'd just be direct. Like if you had a crush on someone like that, you know, even if you saw them doing the dirty, you know, I'd actually, maybe I'd be happy because I was like, oh, cool, I saw them naked. Like maybe like your whole dream kind of came true, right? I mean, is that a
I
good way to
mean,
look at it? I
in a
mean,
way,
you know,
in a way.
like now there's no mystery. Now I've seen it all, and now they don't even
Yeah.
care that they're watching. So you could actually make like a whole three. It's fine. But that's besides the
Bro,
point.
this ain't Pornhub, okay?
Yeah,
But
okay.
that
Yeah.
doesn't always happen.
I'm trying to be optimistic. Okay, I'm giving
That's a
ideas. To the
that's a good
viewers.
way to be optimistic, but
However, highly unlikely possible.
yeah,
Okay, anything can happen in college. I've been to
anything
relationships
can
where-
happen.
That's what I'd be
Oh.
saying. But I'd just be very direct and I'd tell the other person, hey, you know, I noticed you banging the other day. And
Yeah.
although it was cool and I'm happy for you that you're getting your needs met, I also
Mhm.
have needs too. And my heart is telling me that it should tell you that I have a crush on you. Like something, I don't know, like whatever
Yeah.
you want to say. I know it's horrible advice, but you know, it'd be,
No,
be direct.
actually
and
pretty
say,
solid. Like I would tell them to be mindful. Like, hey, like I have feelings for you. I'm not asking for you to reciprocate them or answer, but like please like make sure like they're valid. And so like just be more mindful.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you that you're like, you're doing your thing. But like while I'm here in my bathroom, probably not the best time indoor place.
Be a little respectful.
Yeah, be a little bit
because I
respectful,
poop there.
please. Thank you.
I do.
Like I shower, I brush my teeth there, like, I'm not trying to
Yeah.
think about what I saw. Like
The last thing you want is to be like brushing your teeth and be like, someone had sex here last time.
yeah.
That's just not really a clean feeling for the teeth.
I hope they didn't use my toothbrush for it.
Yeah, it's like
I hope they're not into kinks like that. Okay.
using my loofah or something. Like, yeah. I don't know.
No. Oh no.
Yeah, just it's situations like that. I would just say be a little more direct, say how you feel,
Yeah.
and if they don't like that, maybe it's best to stay away from that person because you're just gonna hurt yourself. If you have a
Yep.
crush on someone, you're constantly being around them, and they know how you feel. It'll be awkward, especially for people. Just be honest, get it over with. You don't want to keep certain things in. So let me see the next one.
All right. Okay. So
Oh, this
hold
one's
on.
fun.
Before. Yeah. Okay. So we got a couple more. So this one. I'm in a long distance relationship and the streets are calling for me, but I love my significant other.
When you get these, you have to be laughing sometimes.
Oh yeah, when I hear stuff like that, I'm laughing because you can't say like you literally just like I'm forgetting the word, but you literally just crossed out what you just said. You said I love them, but the streets are calling. The streets can't be calling if you love them.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
do you really love them if you're really considering talking about like the streets are calling? I don't know.
Sounds like a justification to be a hoe, which is, I mean, fine, be a hoe, I'll be there. But like, just don't, just make up your mind. You know what you want. You just
you know what you want to
justify
do.
why you're doing it.
Yeah, you want to make sure like you still seem like a good person. Like at the end of the day, like you shouldn't care what anybody else thinks. So if you want to do that, like go ahead. Like no one's gonna judge you for it because
if anything, people are gonna praise you. Like, yeah, you do it.
Yeah, you do that.
Have
like
sex
good
with
for you.
everyone. Do it. Like wear condoms, please.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, for
some
love of God, no one's wearing condoms anymore. Like, it's crazy. But I'm the only one who does. Like, why? Anyway, like, but like, yeah. So in a long distance relationship, I don't know if you're in a long distance relationship in college. Nah,
Yeah, I feel like that's like. I feel like
you ever
that's
seen
like
the
a
movie
trap.
Road Trip? Doesn't work,
Yeah,
man.
that
Doesn't work.
The
I
thing
feel like
is,
that's
like,
just a trap at that point.
That's my
Long
opinion.
distance.
I don't care. I'm sticking by it. I don't think
I
long
haven't-
distance.
I haven't like, cause like that's my thing. Like I don't see myself like unless I know, like that person's the one. Cause if I know at that point, like we're talking about marriage or whatever, like there's some type of like security factor in that long distance relationship. I can't be in a long distance relationship just for doing it. So I don't know. Like I didn't know like how to really guide that person. All I just know is how you feel. So if you really do love that person, then like stay with them. But if the streets are calling, like I don't know what to
You're gonna
tell
need
you.
to break up with them
Yeah.
and go into the streets.
Yeah, I'm just like, I need
Let
to
the
have
sirens take you.
I need to have intimate relationship with a girl minimum 7 days a week. I can't be having a long distance relationship.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine like myself like just being without that person for so long, like to the point where like the only method of contact is phone calls. Like, like that seems like that like kind of sucks. Like I know people have to do it, and I'm like I feel bad for them. And like I know like they're much stronger than I am because I don't know how they do. And
yeah,
I
that's
praise them
tough.
for it. It's really tough.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just like, ooh, I mean, took you balls to post that, but I mean, good luck to the soul,
Yeah,
to that
good luck
soul,
to you.
because
Good luck to you.
hey, live your life, embrace college.
Yeah, and even in that fact, like long distance relationship, like that you really need to build trust with people.
Yep.
And like, once you find out like that, you were with them, but they were hoeing around or doing whatever, they weren't actually faithful to you, and you find
Yeah.
out about that really destroys trust. And then like that's like very hard to rebuild. in a sense, especially when you're with someone like long distance. Like that shit is awful.
Yeah, and that's the thing that people aren't starting to get nowadays. Yeah, like might be in this tough situation now, and like in this situation where the streets are calling, you could break it off and do what you got to do for yourself, and still come back to that person. Like just because you go through something once with someone and it isn't like the right timing doesn't mean it can't work out later. But, like I wouldn't burn that bridge now, you know, because there's still an opportunity. Like you two can still end up together down the line, and like I feel like people need to know that. Like not everything is a one-off chance. It's not now or never. Like there's always a later. There's always, and
Yeah.
we don't know what later is. So like that's the thing. We gotta keep that in mind.
Yeah, and everyone has different paths of life that they go on,
Yeah.
different journeys. And sometimes, even if you're in a relationship, whether it be long distance or not, sometimes your paths do not align and you're
Mhm.
going different ways and you just have different life plans and life strategies. But what I see a lot of guys do is that they'll do something like, okay, well, if you're going to this college, then I'll just come with you
Yeah.
because love triumphs over all. But then, it's not what they really want to do. So they sacrifice their life's mission and their life's purpose just to be with a girl. And then if the relationship goes sideways and that guy wastes his potential going to that
Yeah.
college, which he knows he should not have done, then he wasted 4 years, not only on the girl, but he also wasted, the years in the college and the money into tuition. And
Yep.
then it was all for nothing because not only did he not do what he wanted to do, he ended up breaking up with the girl anyway. So I would tell guys that like girls too, if you're have a certain like life strategy that you want to pursue, you need to do it no matter what.
Mhm.
And if people want to join you with that, okay, cool. And if they don't, that's all right, because there's more people, there's more fish in the sea.
Yep.
And sometimes it is what it is, but no matter what, you cannot let people take your mission off your shoulders. You need to always be pursuing your passions in life, because that's gonna be what truly makes you happy, is if you're constantly surfing your own wave of your own ocean,
Mhm.
not on someone else's land.
Your partner should always be supportive of you first. So if your partner like like judges you for making like your decision for you, then like you might want to rethink what's going on there. Like they should be happy for you, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
there has to be some sort of respect, like mutual
Hmm.
respect. In that sense.
sometimes it just is what it is as well. So it really depends on the situation. What's the next one?
All right, so this one, okay, yeah. So this one, my biggest fear is going through all 4 years of college and not hooking up with a single girl.
See,
Uh,
this goes back to the chasing your purpose in life
yeah.
and not women, right? So a lot of guys, what they do is they go to college because they know the chicks are going to be there.
Hmm.
And that's their main purpose. Like the counselor asks you, "Hey, Timmy, what do you want to do?" I don't know. Okay, well, do you want to go into this 4-year college and get this degree? Okay. Do you know that's going to be 122 grand? Okay. Is there going to be women there? The counselor says yes. Well, sign me up because this is a woman. So it's simply just like that. And a lot of guys will just go to college just to look for women. And
Yep.
sometimes they don't even have a plan of what they want to do. They just go to this college just for the experience of, I want to party. And then a lot of them, they end up failing their classes because they're just
Yep.
they're not even into it anyway. They just want to go to where the parties are. And I'm sorry, but MSU is known for being a party school.
Mhm.
From what I
Yeah.
heard of. I could be wrong. That's what I've heard.
It's definitely like a scene. Like, there's definitely a scene. Not that it's on campus because the campus just doesn't like support it, but there is like a party scene. Uh, Unfortunately, that is true. Like, guys will just like come pick a like people will just pick like a basic degree, but just not even there for the degree. Like they're just there for the lifestyle, and
Yeah.
like they'll try to make sure like they maximize the lifestyle instead of like working on themselves for the future. And that's where you find a lot of people like lost and burnt out because like they spent like 3 to 4 years, they spent like 3 years partying, chasing like women and like fun instead of like chasing their life. And they end up like their senior year, like about to graduate and not knowing what they want to do with themselves because they just spent all this time not focused on it.
Yeah, and they're like $300,000-$400,000 in
And
debt,
that,
and,
yeah.
and then just like, well, I can't get a good job for the rest of my life, all because I wanted to chase women.
Yeah, guys will do that just for the sole purpose of getting some sex. So they just go to this
Yeah.
college, and then this does happen, and I know people who've done this personally, and they waste a bunch of money. They go into debt, they can't pay it off, and you ask them at the end, was it worth it? And they just shake their head, no.
No.
And then you got guys who are not even getting laid anyway. So what's the point? Spending all that money. That's why I say you need to make sure you know what you want to do before you enter into these colleges. You need to have a goal in place. Like if you go to a community college, okay, you want to stretch out some different classes. But if you're going to a 4-year college, it's probably best to have some kind of plan and not just to get some pussy. You know,
at least some sort of plan. You need to like know, like, because I know in college, like, you can like change your major and, you know, you have an epiphany and just, you know, completely switch up your major mid whatever. But, you know, because like I did that, because I originally went to Brookdale, and then when I went to my 4-year, like I completely switched up my major because I, you know, had this epiphany. I was like, oh, I want to do this instead. And like I feel like that, at least having a plan puts you in a good foot and gets you a good start. Because if you don't have a plan and then you just go there and try to just hook up or, you know, party and stuff, and you're not really doing anything good for yourself, you're not really focusing on yourself. You're more focusing on, you know, the experience, and not really focusing on the things that are more important, which is, you know, the future. Because if you don't have anything for your future, then, you know, everything that you've done is just worthless at that point.
What I'm going to say for like some advice for that guy is that if you really want something, obviously you have to put in the work. So you cannot just be at college. Okay, women, come to me. Where you at?
Yep.
Where you at? They're not just going to be like, oh, I want dick. I want dick. It doesn't work like that. If it did, well, that'd be pretty cool. But it doesn't. So what my advice to any guy that's going through something like that is that you need to develop a mindset to where you're more comfortable with approaching women if you don't know them, or you need to join clubs and especially at least when they open back up, you know, you need to join various institutions and clubs that you can interact with new females and make new friends as a result. Also, another powerful tool is using the concept of social proof. So wherever you go, you should be making friends. You should be making allies. The more friends you make, the more social groups you put yourself in. And then as a result of that, you never know who you'll meet. So you can meet some good-looking women just by being in different social groups and be like, yeah, you know what? You're actually pretty cute. What's your number? Let's hang out sometime. Like, just by being in a certain group and having similar like hobbies, you know. So let's say you like bowling. So join the bowling team, and then maybe some cute girl, you can start chatting her up, and then you hang out afterwards. So a lot of people meet like that, you know. And same thing, if you want to create an online dating app, which most people are doing anyway, make sure you have some solid pictures, a good bio, and, you know, make sure that you don't look like some creep at the 7-Eleven at 6 a.m., right? So there's some things you can do to maximize your chances of results. But if you're just hoping that women are going to come to you, unless you're really like a really high value man and you really put in the work, and like maybe you have some crazy form of social proof, they're probably not going to come to you. You need to be the initiator. So if you want women, okay, don't put it as your first metric of what you want in life. Pursuing your purpose should be the first thing that you should be doing. Then you need to put women second, put yourself first, put women second, and then make the effort, you know, actually approach women. Even if you don't know them, just give it a shot, because rejection is better than regret, right? So if you're feeling really down, if you feel like, oh, I'm a virgin, I'm never going to get laid, I'm never going to get a girlfriend. Well, let's face it, most guys, they just want a girlfriend anyway. They don't want to see multiple women or anything. They just want a girlfriend.
Yep.
So, and the only way to do that is to put yourself out there. You know, you need to go to where they are, go to where women are, and interact with them that way. And if you see a cute girl like doing her homework or something, just start a normal conversation. You don't have to be like, you know, say some stupid pickup line like like, you know, those
I like
dumb
those shoes.
you say some, you know, those dumb pickup lines.
Say some dumb, you know, just to get their attention.
Yeah, say a corny joke like, hey, what generation does Forrest Gump belong to? Gen A. Ha 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 ha. Like you could easily just go up to a girl and be like, hey, I just want to meet you real quick. I just thought you were cute, and just go from there. Like it could be natural. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be scripted, you know, let it flow. You know, those are the most honest conversations you can have. And just don't stare at a girl from across the parking lot. Like, you know, that's
kind of creepy. Yes.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Just don't be that guy, and you'll be okay.
Don't do that, please.
Like, don't let anybody blow any whistles, you know.
Yeah. You just don't be that guy. Just act like a normal human being. You know. Do you have any more of those?
No, that was it. That was all of those questions, at least.
Yeah, I you know, I saw some of those posts and I was like, oh, we gotta talk about these because they're the most recent, and I just, you know, all these posts, they have some interesting meanings. So those are just a couple of them. As I said, if anyone wants to look at more, it's all on the Instagram page. Yeah,
go on the Instagram page. I'm gonna have the handle put up right on the top of this right here. It should be blinking right now if you're watching this video. So it's the podcast, so it's gonna be good. But yeah, definitely take a look at that. We definitely appreciate what you do in the perspective of that page that you have. We definitely, you know, because I feel like a lot of people need something like that. and if they don't find like a channel like us, like it's good that they find your Instagram and they can come to you and give you these things, and then you can help other people that maybe have the same issue but just haven't said it. And it helps. You can exponentially help people like everywhere and anywhere. Like it does, and like not even where we are right now in the state that we're in. Like we can be helping people in like California, Florida. They can see the page somehow, and they understand because we're all humans. We all feel the same things. We all go through maybe not exactly the same issues, but similar ones where where it can fit in our specific lifestyle. But we do appreciate what you do, and how you help the community of the human race pretty much, and human mentality.
I think, yeah, I think it's a very good thing that people like you are creating these sort of pages, because it gives people an outlet. It gives them somewhere to go when they think they have nowhere else to go. And you seem like a person that doesn't really judge like very harshly or anything. Like you look at the situation. Yes, you give them the cold hard truth about the situation, but you're very empathetic towards the situation. You try to put yourself in their view, and you try to see what kind of solutions you may have for them that maybe they haven't thought of themselves. And it's very admirable, because a lot of people, they ignore other struggles because we're so focused on ourselves and our own problem each and every day, that sometimes we do not realize that others are having as much problems as us, or even more. And sometimes we are very egotistical and we do not see the problems in others.
Yeah.
Right.
Um, it's it like I'm just glad that I did start this page. I'm like a little upset like the way I branded it, like because I branded it like as Montclair State, and like I don't want that to like make people shy away. Like say if like somebody from like some other like randomly found it, I don't want them to shy away, because if they need help and like they don't see like anywhere else to go, I want them to like don't like be afraid to reach out, because like I'll help anybody, not just obviously from the school, because like everybody eventually is gonna need someone, and like if you need the help, like it's there, like use it, and that's what I want to make sure people know. There's help everywhere. Like you can use help. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I do have a feeling that there are more people that do not go to MSU that still post on it anyway. I do think that. I
Yeah, I
do
think so
think,
too.
because I think that if you see a confessions page of any kind and you see that it has 3,000 followers, which means someone's going to see your post, I think people are going to take that chance anyway. And they could easily just lie on the thing, like, oh, yeah, I go here. And then they're just going to post a situation just because they want to be heard. So I do think that even though it is marketed that way, I think people are going to go post on it anyway. Which is a good thing.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a way where you can, because I feel like if there was a way to, I wouldn't say I'm not trying to say like make money, but like more like be like a make it like charitable in a sense, where like do like an event with proceeds to like suicide prevention or something like that, to help people. I feel like that's something that can definitely prosper from like a page like this, and like specific things that you talk about on that page. You can like do some sort of like event, and people can donate to certain charities and stuff and do something. And I feel, and this is also a good way for other people to interact with each other and have like a good experience. And I feel like this is like what you're doing right now is just like, it's the seeds of a big tree that can just sprout into like this big thing. So I feel like what you're doing is really well. It's really good.
I trust me. I had all those ideas, like especially before, like right before COVID hit. I had so many like live event ideas, like charitable ideas. And just unfortunately, that put like a pin in all that.
Yeah.
Like, and I've been trying to find like things that like can grasp that audience online. It's just been it's just been tough. So
Yeah.
I'm still thinking, taking ideas, and like I got plans. So hopefully, I can put those in place soon.
I hope so too.
Yeah, you've already started something good, so you have an opportunity to sort of expand on that, and it's very possible. One last question though, in a two-parter, what advice would you give men coming into Montclair State University for the first time? What would your advice be to them? Generalized.
All right, my advice, generalized, is to know why you're there. Literally, just know why you're there. Continue your purpose, and don't get distracted. And like, because it's so easy to get distracted. Like, find your purpose, and everything else find you. You don't need to try too much. You don't need to search for too much. Do what you're there for, and everything else will find you within time.
What is your advice to women that are entering into MSU the first time?
Honestly, it'd be the same thing.
Same thing.
Like same thing. Just like know why you're here. Um, just no need to like try and force yourself to be like this extra person because it is college. If you know what you want to do, you know the opportunities you want to take, look for those, and everything else open itself. Like college, that's what college is for, multiple doors. And you'll never know what door you could find yourself
Yeah.
Almost done. So with that said, we're gonna wrap it up here,
at.
and we got to do everything we wanted to go to. But we just want to say thank you again for coming on. It's a real pleasure getting to know you and everything, and you know what
Thanks
you
for
do.
having me.
Of course, man. We respect what you're doing, and hopefully you keep it up and things keep going good. You know, and to everyone who's suffering out there, you know, just the journey doesn't end, and that it keeps on going. And if you need to reach out to MSUConfessions on Instagram and hit a submission, because it will be responded to and you will be heard.
Yeah, exactly. And things could be rough right now, but you might be, and you probably are, like a 20-year-old X amount, X 20X, year old, but that you still have like 60, 70, 80 more years to go in your life. So you don't think that, just because whatever's happening right now is going to be the end of your life. Like that's not just how it is. And, you just got to find a way to push through. And, we all of us, we do our best to help others. You definitely do it really well in a sense. And, we appreciate that.
Yeah, man. So thanks again. And
with that said, I think this is going to be the end of the podcast. So for our viewers, we will see you guys in the next podcast, and our next video is coming up soon.